How's it going, everyone? And welcome to another episode of the Geeky Gentleman, the podcast for all your geeky needs and style tips, all rolled into one fantastically packaged podcast. Now, we're continuing from our last podcast episode where we discussed one of the three newest Marvel characters to get their own TV show on the Disney Plus streaming service. Now, in the last episode, we broke down who is She-Hulk, and today we're talking about Moon Knight. In the gentleman's portion, I'm going to help you guys keep that summer glow going during this autumn season with my top 5 self-tanners. Alrighty then, enough said, let's jump right into the podcast. So who is Moon Knight? Moon Knight was created by writer Doug Moench and artist Don Perlin, and the character first appeared in Werewolf by Night number 32 back in August 1975. Moon Knight, or Mark Spector, started life as a heavyweight boxer before enlisting in the Marines. After his time with the Marines, he became a mercenary, but also did some work with the CIA. With his time in the Marines and as a mercenary, Spector became a very skilled combatant. Now things begin to go down a more slightly supernatural path when he begins work as a mercenary for Raoul Bushman in Egypt. While in Egypt, the group stumble upon an archaeological dig carried out by Dr. Peter Alroon and his daughter, Marlene Alroon. Now, the dig site held an ancient temple with artifacts, including a statue of the Egyptian moon god Khonshu. Now, remember that, because that's clearly important. Bushman was intent on looting the dig site, so he kills Dr. Alroon. In response to Alroon's murder, Spector challenges Bushman to personal combat, as one does, but is defeated and left to die in the sub-zero temperatures of the desert night. As luck would have it, though, some Egyptians stumble upon Spector and carry his body to a temple and lay him before the statue of the moon god Khonshu. It's here that Spector dies, but the moon god Khonshu appears to Spector in a vision and offers him a second chance at life if he becomes the god's avatar on Earth. Not wanting to die, because honestly, who would, Spector takes the deal and awakens. Fully revived, he wakes up and grabs a silver shroud that covered the Khonshu statue. He wraps it around himself and challenges Bushman once again and emerges victorious. From that point on, Spector decides to return to America and become a crime fighter, donning a silver-cloaked costume and becomes Moon Knight. After his return to the United States, Spector invests all the money he accumulated by killing people, by being a mercenary, and develops a small fortune. Wanting to distance himself from his shady past, he creates the identity of millionaire entrepreneur Stephen Grant. He even creates another persona, taxi cab driver Jake Logley, just to remain in contact with the street and criminal element. Now, what superpowers does Moon Knight have? First, Spector is an expert at hand-to-hand combat. He's mastered different forms of martial arts, including Kung Fu, Judo, Karate, Ninjutsu, and Muay Thai. Not only is he a skilled acrobat and gymnast, he excels in fighting with most weapons. Now, this is Spector before becoming empowered by the moon god Khonshu. By being the avatar of Khonshu, Spector's strength, endurance, and reflexes are very, 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 very enhanced. In the comic books, his superhuman levels were actually dependent on the phases of the moon, so the fuller the moon, the more powerful Spector actually is. He's also very resistant to forms of telepathy, mind control, and psychic attack, more on that in a bit, and has a high tolerance for pain. What superhero ties does Moon Knight have? Moon Knight has been on the roster of many team-ups, including the Avengers, the Secret Avengers, West Coast Avengers, Defenders, and Heroes for Hire. He's also no stranger to the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and Doctor Strange. So what can we possibly see from Moon Knight in the Disney Plus series? Well, as I mentioned earlier in Spector's backstory, he created a few different aliases, but it goes much deeper than just different names. Spector suffers from dissociative identity disorder. Each personality has its own unique thoughts, and he's always in contact with them. Don't forget, he also has the moon god Khonshu chilling inside his head too, so it's a bit of a mess inside his mind. The intensity within his mind often leaves Spector more or less psychologically disturbed and in constant battle to keep the personalities in check. Sometimes he succeeds, and sometimes he doesn't. This is something I think that the Disney Plus show will definitely be focusing on. I mean, we have a guy who was a mercenary, trying to run from a shady past, suffers from dissociative identity disorder, and fighting crime, all the while with a moon god chilling inside his head. This guy is a mess. The only upside to all these personalities within his mind is that it makes him highly resistant to any sort of mind attack or mind control. So yay for that, at least. I see Moon Knight being much more of an anti-hero, and I really hope that we have a show that features some very visceral fighting scenes. It's on Disney+, so I'm hoping Disney doesn't try to make the show too family-friendly, because then they chose the wrong hero for that. Make Moon Knight dark, Disney, make him dark. And with that said, we're going to jump right into the gentleman's portion of the podcast. It's a sad, sad day when you realize that summer is leaving us for another year. Now that your sunbathing days are out the window, you can kiss that tan of yours goodbye. Or do you? Now, I'm not talking about going to your local tanning spot and getting spritzed all over and eventually hating your life because you look like a ridiculous shade of orange. I'm talking about creating that sun-kissed radiance look that's safe, quick, and easily done at home. When it comes to tanning at home, preparation is key. A few tips to achieve that summer glow. 1. You must exfoliate and moisturize beforehand. It's a must. Don't skip it. Don't skip it. 2. Apply the tanner with a mitt and apply lightly. You can always go back and reapply to intensify the shade. 3. Don't forget to wash your hands after the application. Don't forget. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I've got the best 5 self-tanners for you gentlemen that will give you that summer glow even though you've been trapped inside wishing for that sun to come back. Number 1, Self-Tan Classic Bronzing Mousse by Saint-Tropez. Saint-Tropez is one of the pioneers of the self-tan, and they've always maintained a position as being one of the top brands in terms of self-tanning. With this bronzing mousse, you just use a mitt to apply it and create a streak-free and even tan. The tan will begin to develop within the first few hours. Again, I'd recommend going easy at first to gauge how tan you want to be. Number 2, Clinique for Men Face Bronzer. If you're looking for just a face bronzer, then Clinique has one specifically designed for men. It's oil-free, and the lightweight gel texture quickly absorbs into the skin and leaves an even finish without any of that sticky residue. Number 3, Dr. Sabal Self-Tanning Drops. This is truly a level up in terms of self-tanning solutions. You simply mix 2 of the self-tanning drops into your daily moisturizer, and you will begin to develop a very natural looking tan within a couple of hours. It even lasts 2 to 3 days. This one is a top recommendation because it contains HEV melanin, which gives a high level of protection from the aging effects of high energy visible daylight, which in simpler terms means the same blue-violet light that is emitted by smartphones and laptops. Number 4, Tom Ford for Men Bronzing Gel. Now, I got this one for one of my paler friends on his birthday, and now he always keeps it in stock in his bathroom. He loves it. Tom Ford created a bronzing gel that is invigorating and is a great morning after tool when your complexion is a bit haggard. It helps you reduce your redness and emits a very honest looking glow. Number 5, the Face and Body Gradual Tan by Creme de la Mer. Now, if you're wanting to go all super luxe on your tan, then head over to La Mer. At 85 pounds per bottle, which is roughly around $107, the Face and Body Gradual Tan contains antioxidant properties that assist in creating a healthy looking and natural tan all year round. And there you have it guys, 5 self-tanners to help you keep that summer glow even though autumn has come to try and strip it away. Thanks again for listening to another episode of The Geeky Gentleman. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the podcast, that always makes my day. Feel free to drop me a DM on Instagram, I'm @driftingdecal, if you have any style or grooming questions, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on the upcoming Disney Plus show Moon Knight. If you want more content from me, feel free to visit my blog, www.driftingdudes.com, and until our next podcast adventure, I'll talk at you later. Bye.